After 2 seasons of back-to-back promotion, we are finally in League 2 of France with Bordeaux, and after back-to-back promotions, we have a little bit of an issue. Not that we're taking it too easy, but on our season preview, we are predicted to finish just one place above the relegation zone. After getting promoted twice in 2 years, that's not exactly the most strangest thing we've seen, but this is where the save really gets serious. Players like Alban Lafont, or football manager wonder kid, is in this league. Didn't just get relegated. Teams like Montpellier, FC Nantes, and even teams like Metz, Clermont-Foot, Amiens and Nancy, FCSM, all French teams you've probably heard of. And we've kind of taken a little bit of a risk in the transfer window. If we got an actual transfer history, that would help. Firstly, on outs, we haven't really got rid of many people. Valentin Pesse went over to Red Star for 20k. Boy, man, on a free, not too bad. Abu Bar, who didn't really play last season, has gone to MRT. And then the backup goalkeeper, who we signed last season, has gone out on loan as well with Mathieu Villet to Vendée Hubersfoot. And as you can see, we've only spent 375k. We did sign a couple of centre-backs just to fill out our issues from last season. Alex Pasta, our biggest spend of the season, a Spanish centre-back, 6'1", good stat all around. Ben Knight from Cambridge as one of our players from, because we can have two players not from the EU in our spot, so we decided to fill it with Ben Knight. Released by Cambridge, signed him for 185k. He's got good finishing, dribbling, crossing, everything we need to survive in the league this season. 16 off the ball for 185k. I thought it was a very good signing. Mohamed Baradi is another centre back, this time a youngster. Probably not for this season, but on a free with good potential, a Mali defender will be such a good player for us, hopefully. Riyad HM was a player on a free. As a squad player, I think we can do a lot worse than this one. Decent for our league as well. Ismail Diallo, a backup right back. Maybe we don't need to use him, but I thought squad depth, especially for 1.5k a week, we can't do a lot worse. Jakob Jensen is another squad player, but probably will play him more. Can play left back, can play defensive midfield, can play centre midfield. Just fits all the spots that we need for squad depth. Philippe Lanquantine is a little bit expensive at 14.5k, but high potential, good for now, and also French, so we don't have to use one of our players. And the other player we've signed on loan with an obligation to buy for 215k is Joe Taylor. The striker scored 15 goals last season. It is League 1, but I think goals are what's going to keep us in this league. And if I'm honest, we're focusing on youth this season. We did fill a couple gaps, but our squad is not strong. Gerson Ramos is our starting keeper, and we are focusing on youth. He's not amazing, but he's not bad either. He starts in goal. Julio Katongo, familiar from last season, starts at right back. Cisse, probably our best player at this point from defence. It starts as he signed a new contract. Alex Pasta, as you've just seen, one of our big signings, starts in defence. With Roquier, similar from last season. Jakob Jensen, one of those players we just signed, will start in defensive midfield. Richard Hacken will start in central midfield, as we do have an injury to Otto Hagen. Ben Knight will start on the right hand side with Manai. Such a good player for us the last 2 seasons. Hopefully it can be just as important this season. Jules Roudier on the left hand side. Training him and finishing now, so maybe we can get a couple more goals this season. Just looking at mental stats and physicals. Not quite the natural fitness, the strength, maybe positioning and work rate that you need. But he's got some good starts, especially for a 17-year-old. And then Joe Taylor. Otto Morgan is out for 3 months with a fractured ankle. And he's between 5 weeks and 2 months left of that. And just look at our bench. Freddie Tile, 16 years old. Franco Abate, 16 years old. Bricoux, 17 years old. Steve Chamel, one of our players from the start, even though he is 31. Another 16-year-old with William Charles. Another 16-year-old. And then our backup centre-back. We are focusing on youth this season. Might be a good idea, might be a bad idea, but I think it's a wise option. Anyway, one of the big boys first. FC Nantes, then Amiens SC, and then we have Montpellier. It's not going to be an easy season, but anything except relegation is good for me. We do have some money left. If we do want to sign someone in January, it's not massive money, but we are Bordeaux, we are in debt. We need to save as much money as we can. So whether we use these players to sell in the future, or whether they just cost us very little to keep them in the sidelines and in the first team, whether they can push us up to Ligue 1 in a couple more years, it might be the slower option, but I think it's a smarter option. If we need to change it in January, then I think we'll do that. But anyway, we'll see how it goes. Pre-season went pretty well, just the 1 loss to Basel, but playing just teams around our level. Anderlecht, I see Lorient, Bilbao's B team, Dijon and Sebastian and B team. So we're going to that game. We'll probably have more episodes this season and for the coming seasons, just because we aren't winning every single game, so it's a little more fun to watch. Just give these guys some squad numbers. Looks alright to me. So we have done a very few episodes on this, but done quite a bit. So you'll definitely see some upgrades in how much you'll see of the episodes. But anyway, here we are then, first game of League 2. It's going to be a lot of trying to figure out how we transition, because we're been the best team, or one of the best teams in the league for the last couple of years. How do we fight when we're the underdog? That's one out of the corner for the home team, away team, sorry, into Joel Schmidt. Set pieces, really. We've been that good at scoring set pieces, and we haven't done too bad at conceding them, but not a great start. Alright, in behind for Hein. Back to Sabali. We are in the blue. Not really getting anywhere yet. Still yet to have a shot. Not really settled into the season yet. Sabali. Cross. Asoro. Joel Asoro. 2-0. Not the greatest 20 minutes I think I've seen. Alright, Ramos the ball now. 40 minutes in, still 2-0. Haven't really had a proper shot yet. Rakia to Roudier. Cross to Ben Knight. Ben Knight's going to be important this season. Definitely, if we're going to stay up. Manai. Yes, and into the box. Shot off the crossbar. Joel Soro already has 1 goal. Gets past our left back. Just get back in. Rakia. Up to Roudier. It has been a little bit quiet, but to be fair, a lot of us have. Joe Taylor up towards Roudier. Is in behind. Does have to turn back though. Up to Manai. Can't get a shot quite away. Do get it back to Katoga though. Cross deep, and that's way too close to the keeper. Alright, 52 minutes in. We're our first corner of the game. Manai to take it. Cross ball in. Having our best player out injured for 2 months isn't going to be great. Taylor up to Hackham. Riyad Hackham scores on his debut. 53 minutes in, we have 1 goal back. Finally. Gave them the players a little bit of a rocket. It looks like they responded in the right way. Rudier, already on a yellow card, skips past his man. Crosses the ball tonight isn't quite there though. Hein to Sabali, into Hein down the left. Kabonga puts a foot in, doesn't get there though. Hein up to Balatori into the box. Cross for Joel Soro, hits the crossbar. Yeson to Cisse, 56 on the clock. Katongo up to Ben Knight, hasn't really shown his quality. Almost saw it there, but didn't quite work off. Hein, Cisse should get that. He does. Pass that to Rakia. Jules Rudier hasn't really done too much this game. It's his first game at this level. Rudier, decent dribbling though. Hackham, the goal scorer. Knight to Katongo. Doesn't have a lot of options. Back to Cisse. And I think that's just going to go out of play, is it? Defender's just giving us a free corner. We'll take that. For someone to take. Manai in. Towards Pasta. Rudier. Taylor into the box. Joe Taylor. That is exactly why we signed him. We need that kind of finishing. Maybe not that good. But if we're going to stay in this league, finishes like that, I'm very welcome. From 25 yards out, that is perfectly into the bottom corner. Up to Hein. Don't concede straight away. Cross ball in, Rakira away. Looks like it took us a little while to get into this game, but what a finish. Katongo up to Cisse. I mean, if we sign him for 200k and he's doing finishes like that every week, I mean, I would pay 10 times more than that. Maybe 10 times is a bit much. For Manai to Rudier. Back to Rudier. Rudier's in behind. Shot on his left foot. Wins a corner. And that's kind of why we need to upgrade his finishing. Half an hour left. Still 2-2. Katongo. Back to Cisse. Up to 7th in the league. Just end the league now. We'll take that. Pastor up to Taylor. Not exactly what we need to do. Sabali down the right. Going to be a lot more defending this year. Obviously Diallo's in behind, and Habib Diallo puts the away team back in front. Did have a good comeback, but I feel like we plugged some of the gaps in defence, but looks like we might have some still there. Right, away team's attacking. Just over 15 minutes left. And Bula to Balatori. Sabali taking on Katongo, gets past him, cross deep. Hein. Ramos really should have got that. Looks like the referee's flags up and he's going to get away with it, but it's not exactly great when the cross is inside your 6-yard box. Sabali down the left as well. Katongo gets past him, does bring him down. Play on though. Cisse. Would not be surprised if he does get a yellow card at some point. For Manai up to Taylor. Abate to Shamal on the left. Shamal in behind for Taylor. Can he score? Flags up, and I think it might have been for a corner. There we are then. First game of the League 2 season, unfortunately, does end in defeat. They were just slightly better than us, and I think, well, I think that's the little bit of quality of how the difference is in this league. Not the worst showing, but shows we still have a little bit of work to do. Into the second game of the episode, just for those who care, we are 2,000 up to 13,000 on our season ticket sales for this year. So 13,000 in this for season tickets, so should be a good attendances. And here we are FC Nantes away, same lineup for this one. Let's hope it would just need a bit more, a little bit more quality in the defence, and then just a slight bit of team cohesion as well. Play a couple more games and we'll see how it goes. FC Nantes away from home, another test. Another game where we're not predicted to win this game. FC Nantes, probably one of the best teams in this league. As I mentioned earlier in the episode, Alban Lafont starts in goal for FC Nantes, and here he is now. Not sure he's as good as football manager thought he would be, but I mean, playing the second division of France probably wasn't part of his game. A tanga to Guirassy. Guirassy down the left, shot left, not really testing Ramos in our goal. 3-4-3 against top of the league. This cannot go well. Leroux to corner deep to Bueno, free header. That's the second game in a row we've conceded straight from kickoff with a set piece. I think our new set piece coach needs some work. Right then, Akumo, 40 minutes in, to see we're playing against top of the league, almost played half of a game, and the only time they've actually broken us down is from a set piece. Although it's not great, it's also not a bad sign either. Guirassy in behind for Duarte, shot, good save by Ramos, out for a corner, 40 minutes in, let's hope we don't concede again. Set piece from us this time. Yessen to take it, left-footed, a shot, saved by Lafont. We have a corner this time. Into the second half, 76 minutes on the clock. Still that set piece, the difference between the teams. Tati for Bueno to Okumu. 77 minutes on the clock. We've not been bad, but we've not been great either. In behind for honeymoon, cross, back. And good save by Ramos for a corner. 77 minutes on the clock, 15 minutes left. Still 1-0. Katongo with our first highlight of the game, possibly. 81 on the clock. Katongo to Briku. To Katogo. Charles. Katongo. In for Boucher. Back to goal. Charles with a shot. William Charles. One of our youth players was started to freshen up it up front. Haven't really seen much. And one of our youth players has equalised against the title favourites. Right then, there's the end of the second game of today's episode and the final game of today's episode. A good draw against top of the league favourites, FC Nantes, with Alban Lafont in goal. They won their first game. If this is how we're going to perform this season, I think we've got a good chance of staying up. Fighting against teams like we have in the last two games has put us in good stead. Maybe it's going to change, but we'll have to see. That is the end of today's episode. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time.